Former Attorney General William Barr suggested the Department of Justice likely has a strong case that former President Trump improperly took classified documents from the White House when he left office amid an ongoing investigation into the matter. Is there any legitimate reason for those materials to be in the former president's possession? Barr was asked by Fox News anchor John Roberts during an appearance on the network Friday. That confused me. I didn't know that Fox had an anchor with that name. No, I can't think of a legitimate reason why they should have been taken out of the government, away from the government, if they are classified, Barr said. Barr, who served under Trump, said he was skeptical of the former president's recent claims that he has declassified all of the material in question. Because frankly, I think it's highly improbable, Barr said. And if in fact he sort of stood over scores of boxes, not knowing really what was in them, and said, I hereby declassify everything in here, that would be such an abuse and show such recklessness that it's almost worse than taking them. The DOJ on Friday unsealed new documents revealing more details about how much classified material Trump kept in his personal office at Mar-a-Lago, which was searched last month in connection with the federal investigation. The Hill reported FBI agents found 43 empty folders with classified banners in Trump's personal office, as well as another 28 empty folders that were labeled "Return to Staff Secretary slash Military Aid" according to the inventory. Of the search in Mar-a-Lago, which sent shockwaves across the political landscape and infuriated Trump and his supporters, Barr said people say this was unprecedented, while it's also unprecedented for a president to take all this classified information and put them in a country club. Since leaving Trump's administration, Barr's emerged as a critic of his former boss, throwing cold water on Trump's repeated and false claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election, and penning a book about his time as an attorney general during Trump's final months in office. For the DOJ to have gone this far in its inquiry, Barr said on Friday, they probably have pretty good evidence. But that's speculation, he continued. And until we see that, it's hard to say. So, Barr is another one of these people who, when they worked for Trump, they said nothing negative about him ever because they don't want to lose their job. And after they no longer have to worry about losing their position, which is the most important thing to them, not the law, not the Constitution, just having their job in his cabinet was the most essential thing to them. Now that that's over, he's able to freely come out and admit that Trump lied about there being proof that voter fraud was the reason he lost this previous election. And it's just so funny how these people work, how they can sit here year after year and be totally fine with lawlessness, with any awful things that their boss is doing, and then when they're finally no longer working for them, they come out and they say, make all these bold statements and stand against them and say things that aren't in favor of them. It's really interesting how they suddenly are fed up when it's no longer politically convenient for them to be to speak in such a disparaging way. But I have to admit, this story has taken some twists and turns that I didn't think, because I really didn't want to comment too much on the raid at Mar-a-Lago. But Barr said something I really think has validity to it. As far as I know, and we're going to have some historical sleuths that will probably pull this stuff up in different articles here or there. I can't think of a former president, or even a sitting one, taking classified documents and putting it in a country club. I mean, the stuff's classified for a reason. You keep it within some government agency so that regular people have no chance of seeing it because they're not cleared to view these types of things. Um, and unfortunately, because the FBI and Biden, they're going to try to say it was partisan, and they're trying to screw him up in case he runs again. This is like, you know, isn't it sad that we live in an era where you can factually prove that there are certain things that these people do, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, Obama, whoever, and there are things that these people do that no one's ever done before, right? I gave the example of how Obama, gets the Nobel Peace Prize and then takes us from two wars to seven. Nobody talks about it ever. jails journalists 6 times with the Espionage Act after they expose his war crimes. Never gets mentioned whatsoever by these people. And you'll actually see individuals who will say, oh, you're just attacking him and you're biased against him. So for a lot of these people, they just don't care about the facts of anything. As long as the FBI does something that's not pro Trump, no matter what evidence they have, no matter how unprecedented what he did was to facilitate them doing that, they're going to be accused of being biased against him. Because we just live in an era where people want to shut their brains off and pick a team. And if you attack the person that's running their team, they attack you, or they say you're un-American, or some, some other smear that they can throw your way. And I can only hope that as time passes, we'll see some more proof come out. They'll get a few more people to change their minds, but a majority of them are just they're just convinced that it's a cult. They'll go along with whatever he says, and if he tells them that it was unfair and it was politically motivated, they'll believe it.